Restaurants are sexy, but is this the most special part of the restaurant? Is this the most special part of the restaurant? Welcome to the most important part of the restaurant. And what part is that? Prep. I'll walk you through and I'll show you kind of how we run things. First off, the landing right here, right? Right now it's used a little bit like a staff break room. We have a huge team, they're constantly in and out. We have multiple spaces for them, but this little area is right off the bar. Allows them to just take a quick breather, get a drink of water, pace themselves, gather themselves if they need, and it's a little bit of a utility area for them. They can fold boxes, get takeout paper goods ready to go for upstairs. Easy access, and we got two of them. One, basically a stairwell that goes down in the dining room behind the bar, and another in our kitchen. So our prep team can access the kitchen team, and the kitchen team can come down and grab things from prep right away. That's the landing area here. We have a lot of our pans and equipment storage here. We have our citrus is squeezed by a Zumex. Can't stress enough how important the Zumex is. We do tons of lime juice, lemon juice, orange juice, things for almost every marinade, things for the bar. Having accessible right away is awesome. Here's some of our bulk flour, oil, potatoes. We constantly get stuff every day just about. So this is probably enough for a couple days. We have backups to the backups in other locations. We have two tremendous ice machines. Both of them are Hoshizaki. But basically we have three different types of ice. We have ice for all soft drinks. That's also ice that gets used for our prep team when they're cooling things. We have crushed ice or pebbled ice, and then we have large format block ice for things like scotch. We got our faithful can rack, things like ketchup, things like clam juice, things like some of our beans and some pineapples, some stuff that we use for some of our prep items. Our liquor room, which I always check, it should always be locked, and it is, thank God. Our beer cooler, I'll let you come inside and you can take a peek. We have over 20 beers on draft. We have cold brew nitro on draft, and we have nitro beers, and we have the ability to do some draft wines. We have a fantastic draft system. Some local friends that sell us some of our beer equipment help set this all up for us. Each beer line has its own pressure valve, so you're never really wasting beer. It costs a lot up front, but basically it pays itself off right away by saving, let's say, 10 beers that each barrel would get wasted because it just foams up and you got to drain the line when the keg is out. Having great line systems is important. Everything's run on glycol, so not only is the cooler right below our bar, so the beer isn't traveling far away to get to the guest. You're getting super cold. Our beer is running a cooler right now. I opened it. It's around 37 degrees, but those beers are probably running close to like 33, 34, maybe even cooler. And it's makes a better product ultimately. This is our fresh cooler. When we opened this place, we really wanted to have the ability to have a giant walk-in cooler to keep things organized and visible. In our other restaurant, we started off with a 12 by 20. Quickly, we used almost all of it. We wanted a place here where we can keep everything organized. Space in a walk-in is organization, and organization leads to better quality product, doesn't get abused. You're not constantly trying to work around things to keep things clean and organized, and you're able to maintain freshness better. So I'll show you a little bit about the way we store our walk-in. We built this place to have the capacity to be able to handle at least twice our current volumes, and having all this space allows us to take inventory, keep everything neat, orderly. We have systems which basically label, date, and code each prepped item and who prepped it. At any given time, we can come to this walk-in and know exactly what's in here, the weights, when it was prepped, and by who. It allows inventory, and something else which is super important for us is doing a weekly P&L. Having a weekly P&L gives us a temperature check of our business almost anytime we want, and it allows us to know kind of where two big important cost drains are, is prepping the food, so the labor into prepping the food, and also the food itself, the product here. So it allows us to really maintain better waste logs, everything, just because we have this space, we keep it fresh, and we know exactly what's in here all the time. So I'll bring you on to the next space here. Our freezer, we have a walk-in freezer. We never used to put an emphasis on frozen items, and we really don't, but we bake bread almost daily. We needed a place where we could take that fresh hot bread and quickly freeze it right after it's baked. It allows it to harden and allows us to be able to store it on the line without having all this extra waste and plastic accumulating on the line. During COVID, we were often running out of some of our fresh product, like chicken wings. Chicken wings was a big deal. We barely at times could get our hands on good quality product, and what that did is give poor product on the plate, and it was terrible value. Walking in weekly and going to 3 or 4 different vendors, finding out who's got the best product at the best price, allowed us to buy, but we only were able to do that by having a bigger walk-in freezer. So we could buy chicken for a couple weeks, have it here frozen and feel good about it, and feel like it's still giving great quality product at a good price to the guest. This was a former bank, so we really spent a ton of money and time trying to make it a prep kitchen. First, we had to dig out the floors, demo all the closets and shelves and backups that were here for the bank's offices. And then when we dug it out, we had to level the floors, put a great new concrete, waterproof it because it is a basement, make sure it's always dry, put all the proper HVAC so we have nice temperature control setting, humidity controlled. So we really feel like this is just as good as our kitchen upstairs. It does wonders for our team. So I'll bring you along. This is where the magic happens down here in prep. Basically, we have plenty of space for our prep tables. We can lay out fresh product, examine it, break product down. They were making mozzarella sticks earlier. Start with big blocks of mozzarella. Again, our whole philosophy of buying things at scale, prepping them at scale, and giving that value and good scratch product onto the guest. Yes, it costs more. People are gonna say, yeah, but all the labor costs associated with prep. Sure, there is definitely more labor associated with prep, but it's way easier to be picky about where you buy your product and then have a team member who you know and trust to build that product, make it what you need, like a frozen mozzarella stick that we then serve, versus buying at the whim of your vendor who is also adding on profit from the supplier that they bought it from. So we're basically going way upstream. We're controlling the product, and because we believe in the way we manage our people and manage our team, we're able to make a better product, right? And give so much more value to our guests. This is just a quick, simple tool we use, good old whiteboard. We have prep lists, we have things digitized, we have our recipes loaded, but having a whiteboard up so the team can communicate, especially when you have people from different cultures, different languages, different backgrounds all in one place, having a simple whiteboard that everybody can just look at what's on their list and then make it, super important. We have 2 giant mixers, probably need bigger ones. We have an 80 and a 60. They're Hobarts, they're ancient, but we've refurbished them, and Hobarts are just the best. I'm sure there's other dough mixers out there that people in the comments can say we should get, but right now, we've always just used the classic Hobart, and we feel like it's amazing. This piece of equipment right here, super important. It's just an example of like us investing in technology to do things. So there's dough portioners and then dough rounders. This thing does both. It both cuts the dough into balls. This little spiral rolls out the dough and pops out. It's made by AM Manufacturing. We went out to go visit them in Indiana. Really loved it. Again, it's like, yeah, you might invest in an expensive piece of equipment, but then once you have it, you realize like, how did we live without it? How were we rolling out batches and batches of 80-quart doughs every day and not killing our staff, right? We throw it in here, out comes perfectly rounded, perfectly portioned dough balls. We have our combi ovens, so we have 2 rationales. We'll do things like steam, convection. You can time things, you can slow cook things. They're great. We have a tilt skillet. It allows you to basically think of like a big skillet on your stovetop. Well, this thing does that job. It tilts through rotating here. We're able to make sauces at bulk, stews, just about anything, soups. It's a fantastic piece of equipment. We do have a stock pot cooker. There are sometimes things you just might not be able to use the skillet for, or you need the flexibility to have 2 different things at once. We have a giant commercial revent, which you can basically, if this opens up the right way, you can wheel in a whole cart of product and bake, convect, steam, everything at once. Cart goes in, instead of doing like 2 or 3 trays, which you can do it with the rationales at a time, you can do 12 to 20 in there at once. So again, everything about efficiency, trying to get things done once, faster, better. Like that Daft Punk song, harder, better, faster, stronger. The guys just prepped some salmon. Again, kind of talking about being able to buy good product when you find it. By having ample space and having the control in-house, you're really able to set your prices, set the value that you pass on to the guests instead of like constantly fluctuating your profit every time your vendors change the price. Like fish is notorious, right? And we have the ability to buy from different vendors because we go upstream as much as we can. Our prep space is all about bulk, speed, and that in turn allows you to have a better quality product. It's super important to have quality in product first and foremost, but so often like people overlook where they're prepping it and how they're prepping it. And throughout our career growing in the hospitality world, we'd visit some of these higher end kitchens, talk to some of these very experienced chefs, and we realized like the better the restaurant, the more space they had for prep and the better emphasis and the more in tune they were with their prep kitchen. So when we built this place, instead of making it an afterthought, which a lot of new restaurateurs will do, which we did when we first started, we put almost no effort in the design of our prep kitchen. We started with pretty much the design of the prep space and then worked our way up. So yeah, it was really tough turning a commissary out of a basement, but you know, we really feel like it's the best for our restaurant. I'll take you on our last step here. It's just dry goods, a lot of paper products, some of our dish cleaning products. You always need a space that you can just keep dry goods and paper products. We're obviously a restaurant that does a lot of flatbread pizza. So we have pizza boxes, small and large. We have the bulks, takeout containers, takeout bags. We have our water heater. We have oil collection, automatically feeds to our fryers so our staff doesn't have to move hot oil, dirty oil anymore. We love having all the space. We love being able to do lots of different things down here, and it allows us the flexibility to have best in practice purchasing, prepping, and ultimately that value and that quality gets passed on to our guests. So hope you learned a little bit about it, and we'll show you on the next tour.